South Korea and North Korea. How can two countries with the same ancestry and origin story be so drastically different? One is insanely rich and the other one barely surviving. This question has bugged me ever since I've been in South Korea. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't really go to North Korea to find out why it's a nightmare to live there. But the closest I can get to this country, cut off from the rest of the world, is traveling to the DMZ. But wait, what is DMZ? A 250-kilometer long, 4-kilometer wide buffer zone that was established at the end of Korean War, which lasted for 2 years and resulted in over 3.9 million deaths. On July 27, 1953, both sides agreed to withdraw from the front line and signed the Korean Armistice Treaty, marking the end of the conflict. Today, they maintain their positions just 2 kilometers apart where they stood at the time of the armistice. The area in between, once a battleground, now lies deserted, creating the world's deadliest border, the DMZ, the demilitarized zone.
Today is the important day when we go to the DMZ, the 37th parallel. This is the most militarized zone in the entire world, and we're taking a guided tour to this place. We are going to be starting in Myeongdong station, taking a bus. It leaves at 7 o'clock. Myeongdong is the most touristy area where there's a lot of activity going on all the time, and then these buses are going to line up right here for like a half-a-day tour or a full-day tour. You could do either one of those. So a half-day tour may not include the suspension bridge or the Dora Observatory, but the one that we chose is a full-day tour that covers everything. Hello, good morning. We're here for the DMZ tour. My name is Arvin. Party of 3? Yes. Hello, good morning.
Now, on this tour, we're basically going to 3 main locations. First stop, the Imjingak Memorial Park. Then, the Gamaksan Suspension Bridge. Lastly, the DMZ and the observatory from where we can see North Korea itself.
He's trying to do his best.
Alright guys, we have arrived at the first stop. This is the Memorial Park, and the first part of this tour is going to be a guided tour. The train's unscheduled halt.
The first thing I came across was a monument known as the Ironhorse, which is a train that used to connect South Korea to the rest of the world. South Korea has become somewhat isolated, like an island with North Korea blocking its path to China. However, if this railroad were open and the train ran through North Korea, it could connect South Korea to Europe and also provide a direct train route to Asia, and would unite the world in terms of travel and would have a transformative impact on this region's economy, including access to remote but naturally blessed former Soviet bloc republic. Despite North Korea's isolation of the South, this monument stands here today in the hope of reunification.
Let the Iron Horse run again.
There is a special altar where older generations gather on New Year's and Thanksgiving to remember the war. They bring a meal or fruit, place it on the altar, and bow to the north in remembrance of family and friends still in the north. Many Korean families are still separated due to the division between two countries. It's been almost 70 years, and these families still can't see each other. That's why some Koreans come to this park, to get as close as possible to their loved ones in North Korea.
So next stop is the Freedom Bridge.
Freedom Bridge is where prisoners of war were exchanged after the Korean War. The little colorful flags that you see, the ribbons hanging from the fence, they look pretty, but they're actually little notes people wrote and hung there. When the wind blows north, it carries their thoughts and feelings over the border. The messages are like, I miss my mom's cooking, or I miss my hometown. It's kind of bittersweet seeing them hanging there.
This point where there's this famous locomotive. There's over 1,000 bullet holes. So this locomotive belongs to South Korea, and this was used to transfer some goods from here to Seoul to everywhere. But then this was attacked by the Chinese military, so it has a lot of bullet holes, and now it's a symbol of the heritage. And then here you can see the sign of Beat 131, and you can see these train tracks here. So here is a souvenir shop, the DMZ souvenirs. You can buy a lot of different things like caps, hats, bags, different types of souvenirs. So now we're gonna go and explore some new other places. Time to go to this mountain and also the suspension bridge. That is going to be really cool. It's a red color suspension bridge, and we'll enjoy the thrill of going on that bridge. So exciting part of the trip, our second stop. We have to be back here in 45 minutes. So at 10:45, about 10 o'clock. And this mountain is Gamaksan mountain. We hike for 5 more minutes to get to the suspension bridge, and that's gonna be very cool because the bridge shakes and it's a pretty nice view.
There's the Gamaksan suspension bridge. Once the longest in Korea, stretches 150 meters across Silmari Valley. Although it's no longer the longest, it's still pretty amazing. You have to hike a little bit though to get here. Officially named the Gloucester Heroes Bridge, it's dedicated to the 1st Battalion of the British Army, honoring their sacrifice in the Korean War against the Chinese Communist Army.
Alright, so walking 10 minutes from the suspension bridge's end point is when you really get to this beautiful but small waterfall.
Now it's time. Our bus stopped right before the DMZ started.
Right, the bus is stopped before we enter and cross the blue line. The blue line is the NLL.
This blue line determines the 4-kilometer wide zone of absolutely nothing between the two countries that were one for 5,000 years before they became enemies just 70 years ago.
Welcome to the DMZ. So this is the place where we're going to be watching a documentary first in the theater, and after that we're going to be taking some pictures. You can see the DMZ sign, and then we go to the 3rd tunnel. When we go to the 3rd tunnel, we cannot take any videos over there. Okay. Alright guys, we're back from the tunnel. We couldn't take a lot of the equipment, but still, I'm going to show you this animation that shows you what it was like.
There are the remains of tunnels dug by the North Korea to infiltrate South Korea even after the armistice. They were found though. Some have been converted into museums for South Korean tourists, and others have been destroyed. These tunnels could hold up to 30,000 soldiers at once, with light armory, and all of them led to Seoul. We got to explore one of them. However, no cameras were allowed there.
That was the amazing experience at the cave, or the tunnel cave, but it was fun. The walk was nice. There's the access that is 1.5 kilometers, and then after that you have to go like 1.6 kilometers is like overall the length of the tunnel. We can only go until 265 meters, and then in order to get there we have to go like 400 meters in the walkway. This one? No. That one. Alright guys, so we're at the northernmost point where we can actually see North Korea, So we're gonna go to the Dora Observatory. We're gonna see some replica buildings and then some other things. So let's go check it out.
And right here behind me, that's North Korea, the most isolated country in the entire world. Let's see if we can spot Kim Jong-un. I'm joking, of course, he won't be here. But it's so unreal that just 31 miles from Seoul is North Korea. One is a totalitarian regime under the Kim dynasty with no free elections, and the other a democratic republic with regular elections and a high level of political freedom. Citizens have no freedom of speech. The penal system is extremely harsh, with reports of torture, forced labor, and public executions for political offenses. Plus, things like food, clean water, and good housing are hard to come by. And the worst part is, you can't even leave the country. The visibility today was super clear, and I spotted some villagers where people live. Even though for the most part, yes, North and South do dislike each other, but there's also this feeling for Koreans that part of their family is actually living in the other country. So they cannot hate the whole country because there are people that they love. They're close to them, still living there, and there's no way to see your family. No possible way ever to see your son or your grandson ever again. All that's happening in the world, including what's happening in Gaza, Ukraine, and between North and South Korea, I really hope it all ends peacefully. We're all one after all. We're human beings. Let's hope everyone that's suffering from wars can live their life in peace again. That's it for this video. Not all of South Korea is going to be this sad. I promise you.
I'll take you on a tantalizing tour of Seoul's best food markets and show you the serene beauty of South Korea's largest island, Jeju. So hit the notification bell and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.